One of the great things about my job is that I get to meet new people every day, and every day someone comes in that surprises you.
Afternoon.
All right, mate.
All right?
Yeah.
How's things?
Yeah, good, good. Yeah.
I'm just going to take this off. Okay. Do you want the scarf off?
Please. And the trousers.
And the yeah, it's one of those haircuts, is it?
Yeah, that's how we're going.
Right, where do you want me?
Here.
Lovely. I've been waiting ages for this, as you can see.
Yeah, I like the mullet.
That definitely wasn't the idea.
Busy?
Yes, very busy. Coming to the end of wedding season. I say coming to the end of, we've still got September, October.
Do you get as many on September, October?
No, not as many. You know, June, July, August is the big boys. I mean, I've got 14 suits that have got to be ready by the end of August, which is what, 10 days away? So yeah, pretty busy.
I can tell by your eyebrows that's actually a terrifying prospect.
Horrendously close.
We read eyebrows, barbers. Yeah.
Yeah, can you sort my eyebrows out afterwards properly?
Oh yeah, I do.
In tailoring, August is usually quite quiet because people are on holiday.
That surprises me. I would have thought that would have been a really busy wedding season.
It is now because of COVID and weddings sort of, you know, being back on and everything sort of kick-starting again. It's been very busy, but I'm expecting a pretty chilled, quiet September, October, ready to start again for the Christmas season, which reminds me, we need to get you some Christmas outfits sorted.
Always.
What are you thinking?
Always. Don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just turn a film on and get inspired by something.
Is that what you do then for your inspiration for your outfits? Is it films or is it?
Well, I like to look at old photos. I enjoy looking at old photos and stuff like that. And so a lot of the stuff I like is kind of costumey stuff, which is why I then source tailors such as yourself.
Source tailors? That sounds very official.
Well, over the lockdown, before I found you, I kind of had a few people, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up, you know. I have no idea about tailoring and stuff like that. So You say that. I mean, you're from Savile Row.
Yeah.
So that's, you know.
A lot of people claim to be from Savile Row.
Yes, but I've actually been to Savile Row and you've been there, so that actually is true.
We had great fun, didn't we? We had a little tourist stop into some of the shops.
I can't tell you how everybody was so impressed that I was there.
They let you in?
They were like, who's this guy? What's he dressed like? Why is he dressed like that?
Yeah, but the thing is, when I decided to become a tailor...
Which was when?
When I was 23, 24. So, what's that, about 13, 14 years ago?
Yeah, right, let's say that.
And the rest. My girlfriend at the time said, look, what do you want to do with your life? Because you're not going to do anything at the minute. And I was like, well, I don't know.
What were you doing at that point?
Just working in retail, just going out partying, being an idiot, you know, 20s.
Yeah.
Hashtag 20s.
20s are for,
yeah. And she was like, well, you know, what do you like? I said, I like wearing suits. She said, why don't you be a tailor? She said, go to Savile Row. And I was like, where's that? Mayfair, London. Had a little walk down Savile Row, Mayfair, London. That was it. It's the only place I was going to work.
Yeah?
Worked there for 12 years. Started off as an intern, worked for free. Moved on.
That can't have been easy.
Nope.
Living in London. You were living in London?
Yeah, living in London. I had 2 other jobs to pay the way.
Wow.
And after 12 years, worked my way up in one business to become the head cutter. And then COVID paid due to all that, and now started my own business called Nicholas Simon Tailoring.
That's a very quick rundown for 10 years. That's a decade gone.
I just kind of scattered over the bit in between,
just
all the hard work of learning and actually, you know, making massive mistakes with like sewing sleeves, you know, in the wrong way, and
which never happens in Savile Row.
No, it's all perfect. It does happen at Nicholas Simon Tailoring though, quite a lot, as you well know.
And then gets sorted properly.
yeah.
So take me through then. You've gone from Savile Row in 10 years, which took a minute to describe. And then Nicholas Simon Tailor, a pandemic happens. So why are you not in Savile Row?
Found me out, redundancy, got rid of me. A lot of jobs went on Savile Row at that time.
Well, I was just going to say, is that a common thing? Because
yeah,
I would think a lot of jobs, not just Savile Row, but generally I would think a lot of jobs would go.
A lot of businesses had to save as much money as possible, so
yeah,
you know,
got to do what they've got to do to survive.
Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise, really. I mean,
right.
I'm quite lucky with the first lockdown. I've got to be honest. My mental health was at a really difficult place at that time.
Because of the redundancy, or just generally?
No, just generally, just life had really kicked me in the arse, and that first lockdown allowed me to stop, slow down, and you know, readdress things. So I'm actually, it sounds awful, but I'm actually quite grateful for that lockdown. The first one, the second one was horrendous. Because it was, you know,
thanks first lockdown.
Yeah, but it, you know, it allowed me to reassess a lot of things. I stopped drinking.
Did you drink a lot?
Yes, yeah, I definitely had a problem with that. But I was able to recognise it, and through going to support groups, exercising, you know.
So are we talking full-blown alcoholic here, or are we just talking someone with a slight issue, or?
I would say yes.
Right, okay.
There's different forms of alcoholism. It isn't just a case of I need a drink when I get up to survive. It's a case of, you know, a coping mechanism.
Right.
Which a lot of people say that they have that with alcohol, but for me it was detrimental to my everyday life. So I decided that I needed to change that, and I haven't had a drink for 672 days.
So when you say detrimental to your life, what are we talking about?
Affecting my relationships with my wife at the time, with my family, with my friends, and with myself. You know, I just wasn't a nice person. Luckily, you never met me at that time, but
that's the most important thing. Because once you're fixed, you can fix those around you.
Yeah.
If you're not fixed, it's very difficult, I think.
It's still a everyday thing. You know, I have to work on myself every day. But our first lockdown allowed me the time and the grace to do so. So I am grateful for that. And since then, I do a MenWalkTalk every Friday morning in Northampton. So it's a space for guys to come along. It's just a simple walk, you know, get things off your chest if you've got something to get things off your chest, or, you know, just listen to others who might be talking about something that you identify with. So
that's something that I wanted to talk about, because it's something we notice in here, is this this kind of, you know, men's mental health, because guys, inherently in our DNA, we don't talk to each other, let alone, you know, sometimes our partners or whatever. But you said you recognised that you weren't in a good place, which is the first, because a lot of people I've met don't recognise that. Sometimes they open up when they're having a haircut, but they haven't opened up to their family or anything like that. And it's always a shock to me, because I'm like, well, you need to address it. But I guess then you're too close to them.
Yes.
Where it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah. With some degree of separation, it's easier for me to talk to you, because you're not going to have, I guess, so much effect on my life where you're going to start telling me what to do, but you'll be able to listen and...
I'm only going to tell you what to do.
But I mean, have you guys got any training in that? You know, does anyone come around and say, hey, barbers, you know, watch out for these guys talking about this?
Funnily enough, that happened last week. So we don't, and often it's one of the things where people say, oh, get a haircut, it's great therapy. But you're always kind of like, you know, I guess some barbers kind of, maybe they're better at it than others, I don't really know. But it's something that you kind of go, well, I'm not trained, but I'm happy to talk and be an ear. But you don't want to tell people what to do, because that's not, our job is to cut hair. And I don't want to kind of like blow over it to say, oh, we only cut hair, that's not what we're trained for. But last week we actually had somebody come in. We're talking at the moment, talking to barbers about maybe if they want training to kind of, because there's early warning signs that people say, I don't know what they are because I've not had the training, but it's interesting, because then you say, oh, there's little things you can pick up on when you're talking to people. I've had people in the chair before and I've gone, oh, how are you doing? And they go, actually not great. And you go, oh, and it takes you back, because they're so honest about it. And then you realise they haven't told anybody, and they're literally just bursting to tell people. So then you go, right, okay. And that's it then, that's for the haircut. That is the conversation, you know. But sometimes you just need that, even just to say it out loud sometimes. Yeah. It's a big step.
I agree.
It's a big step.
With my business, I'm working on what a tailor's can be, not what a tailor's has been. We look back, and I guess it's the same with barbershops. It's we look back at what they have been previously, but I see them being barbershops, tailors, just more of hubs, places for guys to learn a bit more about, you know, what's on offer in the local area, what sort of mental health support you can get, what groups are there. You know, there's men in sheds and stuff like that where you can go and learn different trades and stuff and just be around other people. That's really cool.
Please tell me there's something called Men in Sheds.
There is Men in Sheds, yeah.
Are you being serious?
I'm being fully serious.
I'm so happy.
Men in Sheds.
That's amazing.
Like geezers in sheds, like
that is my
stuff.
favourite title I've ever heard. Please tell me that's on Instagram or
there's a website. I think it might just be, yeah, Men in
I'm
Sheds.
definitely looking at that later.
I mean, yeah, check it out. But you know, stuff like that is available.
Be careful typing that into the internet.
You be careful, your search history, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's really boring. It's just like men with beards generally.
Men with beards and suits.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, how can I turn my tailors into a hub where people can come and, you know, feel that they can talk about whatever they're going through, or get some information on what they might be going through. Because when I needed the support, I didn't want to go to the doctors. I didn't feel like I was ill enough to go to a doctor's. I didn't want to waste anybody's time. I just wanted a space where I could go and talk to people who kind of understood what I was going through.
So you've just hit some nail on the head there, because one of the things that people say, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but sometimes, you know, trivialising it, but taking a pill for a bellyache compared to actually I'm feeling like really bad and hopefully I'm going to be okay. But just having that light, that door open is huge for anyone. I mean, you know, I know we're talking about men's mental health, but actually for anyone, it's a huge deal because nobody really knows. Most people are going through something. You know, the battle in your brain is 50% of what's going on, you know, and that's for most people. And I think it's more common than people think. So.
Oh, the one thing that I've learned through all my mental health journey is that everyone's struggling with something, whether they talk about it or not. And if you're brave enough to talk about it, it will get better.
Have you had any success with people sharing stuff then, with what you said, the Men Walk and Talk, and you want to kind of create a hub?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I have people reach out to me on social media all the time, just appreciating that my job as a tailor is make clothes. Shut up and make clothes, mainly.
That's just what I say to you.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, Nick, shut up and make the clothes. But also to have the conversations just like this, to make people aware of these conversations are happening. You just need to be able to find out where they are. So it's difficult. Everybody's problems are very different, you know, so it's difficult to sort of say one thing fits all, but all I know is just a space to share, just sitting here and sharing with you is lightens the load a bit, you know? And then we can take the piss out of each other and talk about tailoring.
Hey. My favourite two things in the world.
Piss and tailoring. As a tailor, you get to dress someone for their biggest days, their wedding day, maybe the wedding day of their children, maybe their christening or a funeral, or some huge days in their lives. So it's quite an intimate thing, and you do get to know people over the fitting process because it takes 2 or 3 fittings to get it right. And in that time, I'm able to say, you know, how are things? And the first fitting, they might be like, yeah, sound mate. Second fitting, they might be like, oh, a bit stressed at the minute. Third fitting, they might actually, you know, feel that they can open up and talk about something in their lives. And then they leave the tailors and they crack on with life.
Do you think that you've put people off getting married?
Yes, 100%. No, I love weddings.
I knew a guy once, and he sold suits. He wasn't a tailor, but he sold suits. And he said a guy came in with his fiancée, and the mother-in-law came, and the mother-in-law was incredibly dominant, more than the guy, and all this kind of stuff. And he said, anyway, they went off, and they weren't agreeing on stuff. And he said, look, why don't you just go out, have a coffee, decide on what you want, then come back. So they came back, and they still couldn't decide. And he said, it's fine. You just need to go. So they go away again, and then he doesn't see them. 4 months later, the guy comes in with another woman who's then getting married to, who's a completely different woman. And he's like, you're a different woman. No mother-in-law this time and stuff like that. So obviously that argument ended in, yeah, we're not getting married, and I'm going to now have some.
I like to facilitate that service,
yeah,
so do come to me if you want to.
I can see you now doing that. And, saying, so you sure Still buy my suit, but don't get married.
No, recently a customer paid me to go to the wedding morning so I could help them get dressed and look the best. And it was lovely, you know, love was in the air and all that, and it actually, I left and was plucked up enough courage to go and ask somebody out that same day because of how much love was in the air. So I love weddings.
Wow.
You know, they pay my mortgage.
Hey, we all make a living, right? We're all making a living.
Yeah, that's it. Me and you joke a lot, but you have a very unique style, and when you first came to me, it wasn't my style. I was very much classic tailoring, wasn't I? Navy suits, grey three-pieces, overcoats, and you came and blew that apart with your Victorian-inspired stylings, which, you know, now is one of my favourite things to make because it's creative and it's interesting and people love it, you know. It's really
I actually get more likes from the suits than I do from the haircuts, which for my business is really bad. It's a terrible business model, but I always get, so I always post and go, oh, he's posting again, look at him there, pouncing around. For me, I don't mind because it's kind of like it draws people in. Happy days, you know.
Well, it's a brand, isn't it? It's an image, it's the whole creation that people aren't just looking at you for the haircuts, it's your style, it's your
Well, I'm trying to keep it real because there's lots of people that, you know what it's like, there's lots of fake stuff going on out there, and I just want to keep it real and kind of go, no, this is me. It doesn't matter if I've got 5 followers or 5 million followers. Who cares?
Yeah, if you do keep it real, no one can say you don't.
So you mentioned about, like, you know, that you enjoy working with me doing it. So have you had any more kind of people who are unique coming forward and saying, actually, I don't want, like you said, the navy suit or the grey suit, I actually want something a bit different, or...
Yeah, and what that means to some people might just be, you know, a certain fabric or a personalised lining, or embroidery inside with their name on it. You know, it doesn't have to be garish and outlandish all the time. It can be, not saying you're garish and outlandish.
What do you mean?
But, you know, with tailoring, it can just be that personal touch, even if just choosing the fabric and having it fitted to you. So I work with a lot of different people who have never used a tailor before, people who have used tailors for years. So it's just great to be able to teach people about the benefits of tailoring and how it's sustainable and how it's better for the environment, and how it's, when you invest in your clothing, much like your hair, when you have a good haircut, you're proud of it and you want to show it off.
Oh, you wanted a good haircut?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That cost extra.
You didn't mention that. So hang on a minute, so you're saying it's more sustainable, it's more, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's going to last you longer because it's made for you, so it's going to fit you better. It's made of better materials, it's made of better quality. It's also about having one suit rather than 5. So if you have one 3-piece suit that you can wear for loads of occasions, you don't need 5.
That's interesting.
Because I know you've got...
Well, I've got 25, but I mean, that's interesting though, because if you, I would have in the past bought 4 or 5 different suits and worn them for different occasions, but actually a good quality suit that isn't going to wear out, that makes more sense. That it's more individually.
Yeah, if you feel amazing in that one suit and everyone says to you, God, Rob, you look brilliant like that, you look fantastic today.
Nobody does that.
You're going to want to wear that more often rather than having 5 suits where no one really says much about it. So it's about building a wardrobe which is smarter rather than building a wardrobe full of stuff that we don't really want to wear.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's one of the things that I love. I wear a lot of my stuff to go to work in, so my good stuff is work stuff. But because I'm really boring, it's the only time I actually go out. So it's also my going out stuff. When you start a business, you kind of have to sacrifice something. So mine was my social life.
What's this thing called, a social life?
There you go. So yeah, social life. So I decided that was the thing that was going to go, because, you know, I actually quite like my family and stuff. So
yeah, it helps.
I thought it helps. So I thought I'll get rid of that.
Looking loads better.
Yeah.
I like that natural sort of waviness to it.
Yeah,
so
you've got quite a nice thick wave going on.
I've got a long head as well, so it needs to be like tight through the sides. Is that
I've got quite a round head, but you can't tell.
Really? Is it just really small and round?
Because of this hairpiece I wear.
Oh, God.
I kind of went for the middle-aged woman lady look and
Nailed it.
nailed it, absolutely nailed it.
Just apart from the beard.
No, middle-aged, no.
What's that you're putting on?
This is itching powder that I got from a joke shop. Is that?
Brilliant.
It's styling powder.
To get rid of nits?
Yeah, it kills the nits off.
Oh, yeah.
I only put them in there and now anyway, so they weren't there before.
Yeah, that was class.
Yeah, just wanted to give it a bit of a
What do I do with that
texture.
stuff? Just like brush it through?
yeah, just put it on like pepper, and then just you can. I
Pepper
mean, with
my
your
hair.
hair, you can brush it through, but it's actually nice just to.
What are the styles of what guys are having at the minute? Is there a trend at the minute, or because this sort of sweep back has been around for a while, right?
It depends on often age groups, but for us, we also, you know, we talk about guys, but actually we have a lot of ladies that like short hair. We have a big trans audience, which, you know, as far as we're concerned, hair is hair, we'll do what you want. And so we have quite a big, you know, a lot of them come to us going, oh, well, everybody said they were trans friendly and they were sniggering while we're in the chair. And it's like, who the hell are you to snigger at someone? I can't because I look like this. But, and it's kind of like, you can't snigger at people. Who are you to do? No one can judge anyone like that. That's not fair. And to us, hair is hair, so we don't mind. But since the pandemic, we've had longer hair.
Yeah.
So the mullet has become back, but it's like a cool, yeah, but it's quite cool now.
Oh my God.
It's quite a cool mullet. Yeah, it's quite a cool mullet now. But with a lot of guys, yeah, the younger guys tend to be a bit more adventurous. And to be honest with you, sometimes I wish the older guys would.
You're gonna do my brows?
Yeah.
My old man brows?
Not even that bad.
They are.
I just, with mine, I just blend them ear,
In the middle?
eyebrow, and everything is one now. I'm just a giant hairball.
Monobrow, earbrow.
No, I've got this kind of like aging Willy Wonka look going on, which I'm totally embracing because I like it.
That's going to be my new social media marketing thing. Do you want to look like an aging Willy Wonka? Come and buy a suit from me.
I'm totally down with that. I love that kind of stuff. I don't want to be like, you know, Rob Master Barber. I want to be like, you know,
Rob Masturbator.
the Willy Wonka of barbering. I prefer that. Do you want to see the back?
No, where you going?
Because
you got rid of my mullet?
I've put a pattern in it now. I've put a Nike tick in it.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, mate.
Beautiful.
Bit smarter.
Spot on. Yeah.
You look nice in the suit now.
Thanks.
Finally.
Finally.
Cool. Thanks for the chat.
Pleasure. Thanks for the time. Let's pay you now.
Yeah, it's going to be more because I took longer. So, just saying.
More for the wisdom.
Yeah, extra for the wisdom.
Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, buddy. Thanks for the chat.
Should I book in again?
Please.
Please do. What are you wearing today?
One of your suits. Nice plug. Well done.